Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hey. So we're all sold on the industry. We think networking is great, don't we? Yeah, it's easy because everybody likes it once they get involved, but it's the people on the other side, they don't see it quite the same way, do they? Did anybody here have a negative relative or friend? Maybe you read about it, but it happens, yeah. And how we get involved sometimes kind of is not the right way, and we repeat it, and we repeat it, and we repeat it, and people get a bad taste in the industry. They think it's something that it really isn't. But how many people here realize that there's some people in network marketing that just get involved because they like being around cool people like you? I mean, you're more positive than their in-laws, right? It's a break from all the negativity at work. You see people by the coffee machine at work. What are they saying? Oh, the dream-sucking vampire boss is taking little bits of my brain out every day, turning me into a human zombie. I can't wait till I can retire and die. So just to be around folks like right here, for them, it's a break. And for other people, they get involved just for the personal development. When I got involved, I didn't know there was a thing called goals. I didn't know there was a thing called rapport or any of this. So for me, it was just huge. So some people think, oh, you got to make a lot of money. But no, you have associations, you have new friends, you have a better life because you can think positive or think for yourself and learn things. There's so much great about network marketing that I can't imagine anybody not doing it except if they were introduced improperly. So would you like to know how I got introduced to network marketing? Yeah. My wife said, hey, dear, I'm pregnant, and you don't make much money. Go out and get a part-time job. So I went out and got a part-time job, but actually it turned out to be a part-time business. I answered a little ad and says, oh, come down to this meeting. And I come to this meeting, I bring my wife. They said, bring your wife with you. And we come to this meeting, and it's a 3-hour meeting. 9 o'clock on Saturday morning in the basement of a shopping center. And this room had about 150 anti-government communist hippies jumping up and down, and they're talking about strange things falling out of their colon and all kind of health claims. And, whoa, I would have left, but there's armed guards in the back of the room. So, 12 o'clock, the meeting's over, and I'm sneaking out. And this guy says to me, hey, aren't you the person who answered my ad? Now I'm thinking, this guy's good. I mean, out of 150 people here, how did he know that I was the person who answered his ad? It turned out I was the only guest. So he said, what do you think about this? I listened all the way through. I gave it a fair shake. It's not for me. I'm out of here. I'm gone. No way. I don't know anybody. I only know 3 people. 2 of them hate me. I'm not a salesman. Don't know what to say. I'm gone. 3 hours over. Do you think some people had experiences like mine? Yep. Yeah. So what happened is he turned to me, and he just said something in 30 seconds. And I said, so how do I join? Now, there was a lesson there for me that maybe 30 seconds of saying something really good is a whole lot better than a 3-hour information-packed meeting of all kind of stupid stuff. But I didn't get the lesson for 2 years later because I just repeated what I saw. But would you like to know what he told me? He said some magic words. And I'll give you the magic words he said. You might want to write them down. He says, when you join our business, here is what happens. And when you say those magic words, what happens in the back of people's minds is a giant movie screen pops up in their mind, big barrel of popcorn, easy chair, they sit back, and they watch the story of what you describe. And what's interesting about that part of the mind is it's as dumb as a brick, dumb as a sack of rocks. It can't tell the difference of what shows up on the movie screen and if it happened in real life. And it's also the decision-making part of the brain. So all he did was take me into the future and told me what could happen. And at the end, the back of my head said, oh, well, join. Just like that. 30 seconds, ka-ching, 3 hours, I was saying no. Do you think he made some money? Yeah, he probably made a lot of money from that. So if you make a couple million here, a couple million there just from 30 seconds, how many people here think it'd be pretty cool to start saying stuff like that. Because what you're doing is actually creating a vision inside of people's minds. Have you heard stuff about visions today? Yeah. We all need to give people a vision, and here's a cool way of doing it, simply by saying those exact words. But anyway, this is what he told me. He said, I said, I'm out of here, I'm out. He said, Big Al, when you join our business, here's what happens. 6 months from now, you can walk into your boss's office, lean back in the chair, and put your feet up on the boss's desk, leave little scuff marks with your heels, and calmly tell the boss that you can't fit him in your schedule any longer. That you're resigning today, you go out to the main office, pick up your personal belongings from all your friends who said it couldn't be done, wave goodbye, go downstairs, get in your brand new car, drive down to the bank to deposit this much bonus check, and when you come up to the bank teller, just say, I don't know, put it in checking or savings. I get these things all the time. And then go home and have a glass of your favorite beverage. And I said, so how do I join? Just like that, because he said those words, I could see the vision. So when we introduce people to network marketing, a lot of times they don't see that vision. And because we do it in a bad way, anybody here ever get an objection? You ever had somebody say things like, well, isn't that a pyramid? Yeah, you hear that all the time. And the reason they say that is they're afraid we're going to give them a long, stupid presentation. They say, man, maybe that'll keep that 3 hours away. So if somebody's actually said, isn't this a pyramid? Would you like to know how to answer it? Now, last year, I'm in Malaysia, and I meet this guy who's a friend of mine for about 30 years. He says, would you like to know how to handle a pyramid objection? I said, I know how to do it, but give me your version, which I've now stolen. All right? And it was really good. I like learning cool things about the business. So I'm learning all the time, 40-some years. So here's what he said. He says, this will turn the pyramid objection into a benefit, and not only that, don't forget that they even said the pyramid objection. So would you like to hear what he said? So here's the words. He says, when somebody says, isn't this a pyramid? He says, I say this. Before I answer your question, would it be okay if I just ask you a little question first? They go, yeah, sure. He says, when you're getting your formal education, with the teacher in school, if your teacher would have gotten a little percentage of all your future earnings, do you think you would have got a better education? Yeah. Well, that's how network marketing works. Oh. When I heard that, I said, ka-ching. This is awesome. And I left, and I said, I just can't wait for somebody to say it's a pyramid. And nobody would. I'm doing presentations, and I'd be going, Nobody would bring it up. I just couldn't wait because it was such a cool answer. So how many people here think you could tell that little story? There's nothing to it, and they forget about that pyramid, and they look at the benefit of saying, wow, this could be cool. So here's how it goes, and I'll give you a chance to practice. So first of all, you're going to need a partner to practice with. So grab the hand of somebody next to you. That'll be your partner. Some of you grabbing 3. I'm not making any social judgment here. All right. Everybody got the hand of a partner? Now, one partner will have to be the smart one. Quickly vote who's going to be the smart one. Come on, there's only 2 people voting. It can't take that long. All right. By a show of hands, who's going to be the smart partner? All right. Now, that means the other person will have to be the good-looking partner. Now, so the good-looking partner is going to be the prospect. And if you're the prospect, you got to stare blankly into space like a real prospect. And you got to learn to do the dramatic pose like, oh. And the smart partner is going to be the distributor. And here's what the dramatic prospects are going to go, isn't it a pyramid? And you're going to say, before I answer your question, would it be okay if I just ask you a little question first? Oh, okay. When you're getting your formal education, with the teacher in school, if your teacher would have got just a little bit of percentage of all your future earnings, do you think you would have got a better education? Yeah. Well, that's how network marketing works. And just like that, it's gone. So y'all ready? Would all the good-looking partners take the dramatic pose and start whining, isn't it a pyramid? Well, was that pretty easy? For all of us here in the room, we're professionals. We're professional students of the business. We like learning these things. But we can change people's lives by just choosing better words. And here's the problem. We all represent something awesome, but how we describe it could be a problem for them. This is the coolest industry in the world. And you think about it. You tell somebody, here's your chance. You can fire the boss and get rid of your job forever and live the life of your dreams and travel. And because we describe it badly, they say, oh, no, let me stay at my job and die. So we're ambassadors to let people know in a way that keeps their mind open that this is the coolest business in the universe. How many people here can imagine having the freedom of waking up every morning and do what you want, change people's lives the way you want, live how you want? It's awesome, but we describe it so badly by choosing the wrong words, it's ugly. Now, if you're just starting in this business, you're thinking, well, can't I just say, read this thing, here's a picture of the company, and here's a picture of the owners, and here's a picture of a scientific report, and no. It's a way of talking to them where they create a vision inside of their mind. You have to give that vision of where you could be. If you describe it wrong, it's over. Let me give you an example of taking just one simple little situation and describing it two different ways and how the results are massively different. So imagine for a moment I'm on a date and I say to the lady, when I look in your eyes, time stands still. Or I could have described it this way, your face would stop a clock. Would there be a difference in the result? But I'm describing the same situation. So the difference is when we talk to people when we start, to them it sounds like your face would stop a clock because we're not describing it the right way. So we want to give them a clear vision of where they could be. And once they have that, wow, nothing will get in their way. I had a friend named Tom Paredes that came to me after a few years, and he said, hey, Big L, you're an idiot. So I thought, hey, yeah, I should listen to this guy. He's right on. So he says, you're not giving these people a vision. And I says, well, why a vision? And here's two sentences that will help you create leaders. Not just distributors, but leaders. And the first sentence you might want to write down is, when people have a vision, nothing gets in their way. Now, you heard that this morning, right? About having that vision that they'll figure out how. When people have a vision, nothing will get in their way. Here's the second sentence. When people don't have a vision, everything gets in their way. So if you're going to create leaders, we have to give them a vision, because if we don't, every little problem will get in their way. And you say, well, but there's still problems. How can you have vision when there's problems to hold us back? Well, people can be successful with problems. The Prime Minister of Australia, huge staff, still has problems, right? Hasn't solved them all. The Pope, huge staff, hasn't solved all the problems. So what do you think about us? Can we, with our limited resources, solve all the problems? No, so we have to give them vision how to overcome these problems. If you have vision, you'll figure it out. When I got started in network marketing, I met this guy, and he had sponsored a distributor, and this is very interesting. He sells some sort of water filter, and they sold it in the United States. We have some money. Well, now we're in debt to the Chinese. But there is also being sold in the Dominican Republic, which is a very poor island where the income is about $100 a month. Now, I want you to consider, there's a lady there. She's 9 months pregnant, sits on the back of a motor scooter, and she had a vision that she wanted her two daughters to be able to go to a private school, have running water, electricity, and the whole works. But she lives in an area where everybody has a $100 a month income, no savings account, no credit cards, no checking account. And she got involved with this company, and they're going to sell a $100 water filter. Now, I don't know how good you are at math, but let's say $100 a month for food, shelter, clothing. And this thing costs $100. Does anybody here see a problem? Would you agree that's a problem? But what happened to her is she got the vision of what life could be. And if people have a vision, they will figure it out. And she actually learned how to sell $100 water filters. Would you like to know how she did it? How she figured it out? Here's what she did. She said, I'll find a poor neighborhood, everywhere, and I'll get 10 families together, and I say, each of you chip in $10. $10. And we'll get a water filter for this group of 10, and every day you can go over with your pans and get fresh, clean water from this one person's house. And you'll have a water filter, so clean drinking water for cooking and for your family. And they all chipped in $10. Said, next month, we'll all chip in $10 again. Get the second one for the neighborhood. So now we have 2. Well, you figure out months 3, 4, and 5. This is better than auto ship. Every month, they got one. Now, how many poor neighborhoods were there in her area? All of them. And how many poor families were there? All of them. Did they all want clean water? She became the #1 water filter salesman in the company. And all the people in the United States just, I don't know how to do it, and they have all the money. If you have a vision, you will figure it out. And problems, even problems like that, won't get in your way. Now, would you agree that there are going to be problems in your business as a leader? Yeah, I mean, you're going to be dealing with people. That's a problem already, isn't it? So when you get somebody started, if you're going to give them that vision, that leadership, you might want to get them started in the right way. And here's the way I like to start people is right after they fill in the application and they give it to me with the money, as soon as I grab the cash, I go, I forgot to tell you something. That gets their attention. And I says, next week we're going to have a problem. They're reaching for their money. I said, well, what's the problem? What's the problem? I said, well, I don't know. Every week they have a problem. It's a business. All businesses have problems. I mean, do restaurants have problems? Yeah, sometimes the staff doesn't show up, right? Hotels have problems? Car mechanics have problems? Yeah. So, will your business have problems? Yeah. You're dealing with people. So, I tell them that all businesses have problems, and here is the words I say. All businesses have problems. You simply choose the business you wish to have your problems with. And they get it, which means they're not going to jump ship over the next problem, because that'd just be another company with another problem, right? So I say, stay where you are and just deal with the problems, because there's problems everywhere. So all businesses have problems. You simply choose the business you wish to have your problems with. Now, ladies, you understand this already. You understand that all men have problems. You simply choose the man you wish to have your problems with. Now, men, you don't understand that because women are perfect. Now, but give this a try. If you are the smart partner, turn to your good-looking brand new distributor, look him in the eye and say, all businesses have problems. You simply choose the business you have your problems with. So if we say this to our new people, they're going to be a little bit more realistic. So when the first problem comes, you can say, I told you so. Instead of them panicking. And you say, that's okay. You can fix that problem or not, but we're going to go ahead anyway. Is it possible to become a millionaire and still have problems? Yeah. So it's okay if a bunch of problems aren't solved, isn't it? So when people look at it, there's a way of looking at it where the problem is everything in your way. There's a way of looking at it as saying, every problem means there's an opportunity. Let me give you an example. You have a brand new product you just introduced. Is that correct? Yeah. Now, there's always going to be events. There's always going to be problems. Things happen. It's how you choose to look at that problem that's going to determine the size of your bonus check. Now, there's two sizes of bonus checks, big and small. Which one do you think would fit your budget better? Big. So if you want a big bonus check, you're going to have to think like a leader. If you want a small one, you have to think like a distributor. So let me give you an example of this problem. What's the name of your brand new wonderful product? And you say, wow, this is going to be really good. So I'm your distributor. I go next door, talk to my neighbor. Hey, man, this thing about this youth, it's going to make you so young that you won't be able to buy alcohol anymore. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to, make your skin younger. Why you should be, it's going to be awesome. So I said, yeah, I'll get some. So I said, all right, I got the order. So I come back, I call up and said, all right, I want to order some youth. And they said, well, it's out of stock. I said, what? Out of stock? You don't have any? I hang up the phone and I say, oh my goodness. They don't even have the product in the warehouse. This is terrible. They're out of stock. Maybe they don't even have a warehouse. Maybe it's all been a con. Maybe I've been fooled about this whole thing. Maybe they don't even have an office. Maybe I ended up calling India. I don't really know. But it could have been a call center here. And now I'm going to go back to my neighbor, and my neighbor's going to say, oh, man, you took my money. Didn't bring your product. You ripped me off, man. She's going to tell her neighbor, the next neighbor, and pretty soon all of Western civilization is going to be against me. My reputation is going to be ruined. I quit. Now, would that be leadership thinking or distributor thinking? What do you think the size of my bonus check would be? Small. And by the way, if you do quit, it lowers your chance of success by over 50%. Now, this event will happen because it's a hot product, right? So let's say I'm your distributor, but I'm intending to be a leader. And I realize that stuff happens. I know there's problems, but how I think about the problems is going to determine my future and the size of my check. So I go next door, take the order, come back, call the office, say, we're out of stock. I hang up the phone and go, yes, we're out of stock. This is awesome. Our products are so hot, we can't even keep them in inventory. Unbelievable. I'm going to go to my next door neighbor, and I'll tell her it's going to be out of stock. She said, I can't even get it. Maybe I should order twice as much, 3 times, 4 times as much, just to make sure I get some, because it's a hot product here, it's going to win, which means twice the bonus check, 3 times, 4, 5 times the bonus check. Yes, I hope everything's out of stock. So, would that be distributor thinking or leadership thinking? Now, the event did happen. Is that true? Yes. Totally happened. It's how we chose to think about it that's going to determine the size of our check. So you're going to have your best friend turn you down. You're going to say, hey, it's a great opportunity. And if they turn you down, that's a problem, right? But it's how you take it. Your best friend said, well, yeah, it looks good, but it's just not for me. I don't think I can do this. I'm a full-time loser. I'd like to fall on the sword. Would you hold it for me? My father died broke. My grandfather died broke. I'm going to die broke just like him. Hold the sword. Put them out of their misery. Don't take it personal. Our job is to take network marketing and give people the opportunity, not to force them, but give them the opportunity and describe it in a way where they say, you know what, I could do it or not, but it sounds a lot better if I do it. So we can't take it personal. We can't say it's a huge problem our best friend didn't join because, gee, you're going to probably meet another best friend, right? Have to replace them since they fell on the sword anyway. So it's how we talk to people, how we think about it, how we become a leader that can affect people. So when you sit down and talk to somebody who's not in network marketing, who doesn't know how great and awesome this industry is, they don't get it. It's easy for us. We have experienced it. And you have all these cool experiences, probably even from day one. When I got started, I was on jury duty. And I saw this man in the corner reading a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I said, this guy's kind of wired. He wants to do something with his life. So I used my best recruiting pitch. I went over to him and I said, want to be a distributor? And the guy said, yes. The only time it ever worked, ever. So I said, well, I have a meeting in my home every Tuesday night. Starting now, I have a distributor. And just come on by and bring a guest. So he comes to our apartment and brings a guest. The lady he brings she's 46 years old, married, 12 children. Her husband's disabled, had a back problem and a drinking problem, and they lived on $432 a month, aid for dependent children. Not very much. So after the meeting, I said, this lady, Juanita, she's a really, really nice lady, but, they at least need to have maybe like 5 cents to buy an application or something. You want to, kind of choose your prospects a little bit better. He says, yeah. So here's what happened. He quit. And she went on to become a superstar. And the lesson I learned from her was, it's not where people are today that counts, it's where they want to be. Now, did I give her a vision? Nope, I was clueless. She gave it to herself. She saw the business, says, here's what I could do. I get my family off of ADC. I could actually earn enough money for a car. I end up having some trips where I can take some of my children to see cool places. It changed her life forever. And every time I looked at that lady, 2 thoughts came to mind. Number one is, I changed her life forever. The whole vision about her family. And number 2, wow, what a bonus check I'm earning just from her. So I was rewarded greatly for helping her change her life. So if you're sitting there, don't prejudge where they are today. Look where they want to be. And they may not be there today, but we can teach them how to think different when bad things happen. We can let them know that problems are going to happen. We can say if you had leadership thinking, things would change. The problem is we know that. They haven't experienced it. So when we sit down with them, we start off by a 3-hour meeting of strange stuff falling out of our colon and talk about weird, networking stuff. It might be too big of a shock for them because we're not meeting them where they are. So would you like to know a cool way to meet people where they are so they listen to you and they don't resist and they don't start running away and coming up with stupid objections? Would you like to do that right now? Yes. All right. Here's how this works. I'll show you a way of building what's called rapport. I didn't know this when I started, but after a while we realize saying good stuff ain't enough. It's what they believe that counts. And when you and I talk to people, our message comes right up to their forehead and bounces off and goes tinkle, tinkle, tinkle to the floor. That's not enough. What we have to do is keep their mind open long enough for the message to go inside. Because if their mind is closed, it's over. Now, did any of you ever experience this? You're sitting down with a prospect, you want to get this message, this cool industry, this cool product, this cool opportunity, it's going to be awesome, but they're not listening. They can only really hold one thought at a time. We are talking to them, and does this sound a little bit like what they might be thinking? Oh no, a salesman. How long is this going to last? It's going to be too good to be true. What's the catch? You're going to take the money. Got to be careful. Fold your arms. Think of excuses. We'll survive at 13, get off island 14. Who fed the dog? And while they're thinking all this stuff, do you think they hear our message? No. So what we have to do is open their mind and keep it open long enough so our message can slip in like a greased ninja at midnight. So are you ready? The easiest way to talk to people quickly so they keep their mind open is to tell them one thing that they already believe. And if you can do that, they say, hey, you and I think the same. You and I are in rapport. Blood brother, blood sister, joined at the hip, Vulcan mind meld, hand in hand, common vision. I know, like, and trust you. If you can do that, you have a chance. So if you tell people just one simple fact they believe, it will keep their mind open long enough so you can start delivering your message. Would you like to know some cool facts? All right, here's some facts I like to use to keep people's minds open. I love saying this one all the time to people. I said, having a job interferes with our week. And they go, yeah, you're right. High five, man. Having a job does interfere with our week. And I say, well, we'd all like to get an extra paycheck. Extra paycheck? Yeah, you're a mind reader. And 2 paychecks are better than 1. Whoa, how do you do that? We all like to have more time with our family. Unbelievable. You have high-level ninja powers I can only aspire to. Dying early is inconvenient. Yeah, you're right. Never thought about that. Or if you don't take care of your body, then where are you going to live? Or growing old hurts. Yeah, it hurts all over. Or we would all love to feel like we're 16 years old all over again, but with better judgment. Yeah, that'd work. And we don't want to work 45 years like our parents. Oh, yeah. When you say that to somebody 18 years old, they will actually put down their beer and video game and listen to you. Or having a 5-day weekend is a lot better than 2. Yeah, that could work. Or it'd be fun to earn more money part-time than our boss does full-time. Or say, we all would like to wake up at the crack of noon. Or it'd be fun to wake up every morning and sit in the front lawn and wave goodbye to your neighbors going to work. Just with a little opening statement like that, they say, you know, we kind of feel like we're together. And what you've done is let them know that you're more like them than everybody else, and they become close to you, and they will listen to your message. And that's all we ask. If we can tell the message about this great business, great product, great opportunity, a different way of thinking about the world, if we can get that message inside their head, that's all we ask. And then they can make a decision if it's going to help them or not. That's all. Does that make sense? So let's just give this a try. Turn to the person next to you and just tell them one fact in the known universe that you think they could agree upon. You might just turn to them and say, you know, our butts hurt from sitting here so long, or something like that. Are you all ready? Turn to your partner and just tell them one fact. So, how'd that go? Oh, that was good. Well, do you think we could start our conversation with one fact before we start telling them everything else so they listen better? But we're the pros, aren't we? You know what you and I are going to do? We're going to tell them 2 facts and put them into a deep hypnotic trance. Here's how this works. The mind is pretty busy, has a lot of stuff to do. And if you tell somebody a fact they believe, oh, yeah. You tell them another fact they believe, they go, yeah, so I got this. Everything you tell me is going to be true. Come on in. Let me take care of some other stuff now. So once you tell them 2 facts, you can just tell your message, and it'll go in, and they hear it. Now, telling people 2 facts in a row, it isn't too hard. How many people here could think of 2 facts in a row that you could tell somebody? The one I always like to use, because I like people to take advantage of the opportunity, I like to say to them, you know, the economy's in the toilet, and we're not going to get pay raises next year. And they all go, yeah, you're right about that. We should do something. How easy is that? Now, when I say these 2 things, what's interesting about humans is they don't want to think about things very long. And if you tell them these 2 facts, they say, if they both sound true, I'm in. I'm with it. No more proof needed. So all you and I have to do is tell people a couple things I already believe, and they say, we can have a decent conversation with all that fighting and objection stuff going out of the way. Now, if you have 2 facts, from then on, they're going to say, whatever you say next is going to be good. Y'all ready to give that a try? I'll show you what happens. What's most interesting is that they will never question the facts you tell them if there's 2 of them. I don't know why, but I like to say, you know, the economy's on the toilet, not going to get pay raises next year. Nobody's ever questioned that fact. Nobody's ever said, well, did you ask how many people? How many you surveyed? Or how deep was it in the toilet? Somebody stick their hand down and measure? No, nobody has ever asked. So I just tell people 2 facts about business and life, and they will say, from now on, you and I can have a great conversation on all that stupid rejection and made-up objections and on with it. So let me give you an example of a couple things we could say. You might say, our face is our best first impression, and we never want to look older, our face to look older than we are. What do you think people are going to say? Yeah. Or Australia, weather is hard on women's skin, and we don't want to have wrinkles so deep that you can store food in them. Was that a medical claim? All right. Or we all got to live in our bodies, so we better take care of it so we have a place to live. Or we all want to stay healthy because nobody wants to die before their time. Or jobs interfere with our week. And we all would like to be our own boss. Or a 5-day weekend is better than 2. And we all would like to have more holidays. Or we need more holidays here in Australia. And a 6-month holiday twice a year sounds good. How many people here could just think of 2 little things that you could say to the person next to you, and they're going to go, yeah, we get along pretty good. I think I can hear your message, and you can spread your message better. So everybody ready? Turn to your partner and tell them 2 little things that they can get along with. Let's begin. Well, was that a little bit easier? Let's move on to step number 3. We're going to do so much overkill here, it's going to technically be illegal. We're going to make people like us even against their will. We're going to be in total rapport with people so they'll hear our message, and here's what we're going to do, step number 3. Little babies from 7 weeks old, they can't talk yet, but they look up a big adult stranger. How do they know which stranger to trust, to feel good about? Because that stranger looks at them and smiles. And it's almost a hardwired program in human brains that if somebody smiles, they can be trusted. Now, this is one of the stupidest programs ever given us. But the program in everybody's mind is, if you smile, you can be trusted. Isn't that interesting? It's not true, but everybody thinks it is. So if you are going to talk to somebody all depressed and talk about miserable facts, keep the day job. But if you can smile, people will say, I can trust you, I can listen to your message, I can internalize and make up my mind if I want to join you on your mission or not. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? How many people here know how to smile? Whoa, I got here just in time. All right. For those you don't know how to smile, very quickly, it's 13 muscles on this side, 13 muscles on this side, show a little bit of teeth, and pretend to be sincere. All right, let's see everybody make a smile. Whoa, all right. Let me show you something cool. When you smile at somebody, something happens inside. They have some other programs that react to this. It makes them just feel so good about you that your conversation can continue and your message can continue going in them. So what we're going to do here is just a little experiment. I just want you to feel how good it is when somebody smiles and you'll feel something inside. Are you all ready? I'd like everybody here to make the biggest, broadest Cheshire cat grin you possibly can. Come on, big, really big. Oh, much bigger than that. Really silly, outrageous grin. And turn to your partner and look them in the face. Well, do y'all feel something? All right, let's go to work. What you and I will do, and this is way overkill, you probably don't have to go this far, but remember, if you're going to frown, get a different profession. Smiling works. We're going to talk to this person, and all right, what's the deal? We say, we have a lot of work to do because their arms are full. They're not going to see all the cool benefits here. So we're going to tell them a fact they believe. We're going to tell them another fact they believe, and then we're going to smile. Melt their heart so the arms come unfolded so you can deliver your message. Would that be cool? So I'm going to do it first as an example, then it will be your turn. So I'll do a fact, I'll do another fact and a smile, and then it'll be your turn to do the same. Are you all ready? Here's mine. You know, the economy's in the toilet, and we're not going to get pay raises next year. All right, it's your turn. Give it a try. So, does it make sense now why some people have natural rapport with people? Some people have this $1 million smile they're born with. Just makes me jealous. How about the MCs up here? Do you see the $1 million smiles they have? They just show up. People just throw money, just like that. Our job as professionals is to spread this industry, to spread our message, our mission. So, let's do another one. Number 4. Did you know that you can actually command people to believe whatever you say? Just do a little 4-word command to their mind, and they say, well, it must be true. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Yeah. So these 4 words you use all the time, just randomly, but we're going to use them a little bit more deliberately so people will internalize what we want to communicate. And the words are, well, W-E-L-L, comma, don't write out comma, just make the squiggle. Well, comma, you know how. What's interesting about well, you know how is when you say that, the back of your prospect says, well, if I know how, then it must be true because what I know is true. The back of the brain is an idiot. But you use this all the time. Just think about it. You're at the coffee machine at work, and you say to them, well, you know how the traffic was so bad this morning? Well, you know how we all could use a raise. And, well, you know how they work us so hard. And, well, you know how this coffee just really stinks. And, well, you know how our work is so boring. And, well, we do it all the time, don't we? It's a natural thing we say, well, you know how, that people will naturally believe and internalize what we say next because they figure, I already know how. And well, you know how does really cool things. But the best thing is you can say it and never feel like a salesman or trying to convince somebody. You just say, well, you know how, and they all feel comfortable. How many people here would feel comfortable saying, well, you know how? Yeah. All right, so we're going to do a little experiment here. What I'm going to ask you to do is turn to your partner. You're only going to say 4 words, well, you know how. And I want you to feel inside how comfortable it was to say. Can you all do that? So turn to your partner right now, look him in the face, say, well, you know how. Okay, was that comfortable? Yeah. Easy to do. Number 1, was it comfortable? Yes. Number 2, was it easy to say? Didn't sound like a salesman, wouldn't trigger any sales alarm. But number 3, how many people here noticed when you said, well, you know how, to your partner began nodding yes uncontrollably? And there's a program in the human mind that says if anybody, anywhere, at any time ever says, well, you know how, start nodding yes uncontrollably, agree with whatever they say next, even though you don't even know what it's going to be. What a great way to get people in agreement with you. Number 4, how many people here noticed that your partner was smiling? Yeah. The program inside their mind says, if anybody says, well, you know how, then I have to nod yes uncontrollably, agree with whatever they say next, even though I don't even know what it's going to be, and smile. In total friendly rapport, we can have that conversation and the message gets transferred. So putting well, you know how in front of your fact makes it even more powerful. So you can say to somebody, well, you know how it'd be great never to go to work again? And they're going, yeah. And well, you know how it'd be great to be our own boss so we can pick up our kids from school? Yeah. Smile. They have no chance. Just that quick, they say, you and I are on the same page. Let's talk. And that's how we spread our message. It's not the message, but it's how we break through all that garbage in their head to deliver that message. So how many people here think you do well, you know how, a fact, well, you know how, a fact, and give people a smile really quick? And it could be something as simple as, well, you know, I'm the smarter partner. And well, no, not the part. That would get us out of report, wouldn't it? So you all ready? Figure out a fact about your products, your opportunity. Well, you know how, well, you know how. Give them a smile. Everybody ready? Let's begin. Well, how are we doing? I know you're thinking this. Hey, I'm ready to spread the message. I'm ready to tell the world this is the coolest career in the universe, but you know, there's a little problem here is I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't know anybody. I see a bunch of strangers. I just can't come up to them and smile. They might think something's wrong. So what do I do? So would you like to have 4 words that you could take the darkest, meanest, upset stranger and melt their heart on command? Turn your conversation into a giant hugathon? Command the back of their mind to say, I'll tell you anything you want without question? Yeah. And be in total rapport and say, I'm obligated to help you any way possible as long as it's reasonable? And you can do that with just 4 words. And I'm just curious, how many people here would like to know these 4 words? Because I'm just curious, if you don't talk to somebody, how much money do you make? And I'm just curious, if you don't talk to somebody, how many lives do you change? And I'm just curious, if you don't talk to anybody at all, is your message being passed along? So I'm just curious, how many people here like to know these 4 words? How many people are ready to write them down? How many people here have a partner that's figured out what they are? I'm just curious, how many people here want me to say, I'm just curious over and over again until you write down, I am just curious. Now, there is a stupid program in the human mind that says if anybody anywhere at any time says, I am just curious, open up your heart, tell them anything they want, even your deepest, darkest secrets. Total hugathon, total rapport, blood brother, blood sister, I'm there. Just like that, you're an instant bonded conversation where you can start your message. I'll give you an example how to use it very quickly. If I go outside in the lobby, I meet the security guard. I don't know anything about the security guard. We don't even speak the same language. He's Australian. So, to start a bonded conversation, all I'm going to say to him is, I'm just curious. Do you enjoy working weekends? I'm in. I'm just curious. Can you pick the hours you want in this job? I'm just curious. Is this a pretty good paying job? I'm just curious. Can you pick the days you want? I'm just curious. Is it hard being on your feet a lot? I'm just curious. Would you like to have more time with your family? I'm just curious. Would you like to have an extra paycheck? I'm just curious. Have you ever thought about being your own boss and having your own business? I'm just curious. Was this a career you always wanted in high school? All right, went too far. But how many people here see how quick that was by saying, I am just curious? And when you just have just general conversations with people, it could be as easy, I'm just curious. Do you think dying early is inconvenient? I'm just curious, would you like to live long enough to see your great-grandchildren get married? I'm just curious, would an extra paycheck make a difference? and instantly you have somebody to talk to on your side of the table. And that's all I ask for all of you to do is make sure they're on your side of the table before you begin, and then you can deliver your message. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. All right.